So we started off our day by visiting Epoch Coffee to taste our very first hot chocolate of the day. Immediately, we were greeted by black walls and edgy aesthetics all over the cafe.
Welcome to Vlogmas week 2! I can't believe we're actually on week 2. We're doing it. We're actually doing it. I'm proud of us.
Yep.
So today we're doing something called the Hot Chocolate Showdown.
Oh.
So basically we're hitting 3 different coffee shops that also do hot chocolate. And we're going to compare them on a few different criteria, which I'll let Dante say.
Yeah, so we're going to be comparing the presentation of the hot chocolate. We're going to be comparing the price of the hot chocolate. We're going to be comparing the richness of the hot chocolate.
The velvetiness, the creaminess.
We're going to be comparing the trueness to chocolate.
Yes.
And the
warmth.
Last category we're going to be comparing is the warmth of the hot chocolate.
Because, temperature matters. And so the places that we picked are specifically rated by a food critic here in Austin. So we're going to try these. It's Eater, basically. And see how it compares to my own personal favorite hot chocolate. So we'll see how it goes.
It's exciting. Hopefully it makes up for Mozart last week.
Yes. We'll have to find out. We're still salty about Mozart's hot chocolate, which I think is hilarious. But this is Epoch Coffee. We did ask them how it's pronounced because me and Dante were debating. He told me that the word is actually epic.
Yes, it's usually pronounced epic, E-P-O-C-H, but they do epoch here.
Yeah. So I can tell it's hot, so I'm already a little worried I'm going to burn my tongue. But for the name of science.
Well, starting off, what was the price of this hot chocolate?
It was $3.50.
$3.50.
I mean, plus tax, but I'm not going to include that in here.
That
seems pretty affordable.
We got to see some pizzazz of them making it, and you've seen probably some shots of the establishment. It's very cute.
Super vibey. It's the place that you want to bring your laptop and just do a bunch of work and just relax and it's super cute.
So here's their brand.
I love all the lighting too. I think honestly that's something that really sets a place apart is their choice of lighting to me.
So what would you give this on presentation? 1 to 5.
Are you talking about this?
Yeah, the presentation of the establishment, of the cup, of the making process.
The place itself is probably a 4 for me. 4 out of 5. 5 being the best and 1 being the worst. And then the hot chocolate itself, their logo is pretty cute. But it's a basic white cup, nothing special. They did offer to do it in a bag, but we're hitting a lot of places, so I was that's not going to work for us.
Plus, we want to save a little bit for the road.
Yeah. So I'd say this is probably a 3. So 3.5, average it.
Okay.
What do you think?
3.5 sounds good to me.
Right.
I'm not yet judging it, obviously, with the objective price. I think the place is cute. I like the different seating. We're on a couch here.
They're also super friendly. Everyone's the baristas were super nice and friendly, which, I don't know. I appreciate it.
So it's neat. I like lots of books and board games over there. It looks like there's a lot of tables to go play board games.
Yeah, there's a lot of tables. And so that way you can kind of work on your own or sit at a big table and work with others. So you have lots of options.
Their logo's cute. They have their own in-house cups. I would say 4 out of 5 for presentations. What would I give? So you give 3.5, I give 4.
Okay.
So try it. What do we think?
I'm scared I'm going to burn my tongue. Taste it. I have thoughts already. I'm so confused.
It's like cinnamon.
But it has chocolate. But you know what? So they did put a powder and then she mixed it in with a whisk and then added the steamed milk on. So it is still a powder-based one. It's not just chocolate melted into milk. But I think the cinnamon does a good job of cutting down some of that sweetness. Because I think a lot of times with powder hot chocolate, one of my problems with it is it's always so overly sweet. And the cinnamon kind of cuts that down, which I really appreciate.
I'll tell you what though, the cinnamon is obscuring a lot of the chocolate flavors.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be losing some points on trueness to chocolate here.
So trueness to chocolate, I'm going to have another sip. Probably a 3. I know I'm just handing out a bunch of 3s.
I'm going to be honest, on my first sip, I didn't know that there was chocolate in here. It was
you
just
get the
cinnamon,
2?
so I'm going to say 1.
1? my gosh. Okay.
So creaminess, that's in the richness category, right?
So
richness of flavor.
I would say two.
Okay. I'm going to actually be a little more generous here.
Oh.
Because, like you said, it tastes good. It doesn't taste like, a traditional hot chocolate. It's got a lot of cinnamon in it,
Yeah,
but it's smooth going
three.
down. It's
a
good.
3.
I would actually give it probably a 3.5 or even a 4. I'm going to round up to 4.
Okay.
Be a little nice. 4 on richness.
He's giving a 4.
Right.
What's the last category?
Last category was warmth. Did it burn your tongue?
No, it's actually the perfect temperature. I was so worried when I was holding it. I was like, this is going to totally burn my tongue. But it is like the perfect temperature. Would you agree?
I would agree. It was like only slightly on the warm side as far as...
You want it to be a little...
Yeah, exactly. So I was going to say probably for warmth, I give it a 5.
I would give it a 5 too.
All right.
But for like, I'm like so curious now to try some of their coffee. Their coffee menu looked really good. There was like a seasonal menu. So like, I appreciate the festive vibes because it is Vlogmas.
Very cool.
And they have some cute little like twinkly lights. It's super cute. And all the plants. You know me. I love my plants.
So are you changing your score at all, or are you leaving your presentation where it was?
I'm going to leave it where it is because it's also factoring in the hot chocolate.
All right, so you've got our total scores right here below us, or above us, I don't know, wherever. You got our total scores on screen somewhere.
Yeah.
And now we're going to move on probably to the next place.
Our next stop of the day was Pacha Organic Café. Pacha felt very different from our first stop, Epoch, in the fact that it was way more colorful and definitely had a funkier vibe to it.
All right, hot chocolate place number 2. Now we're at...
Pacha Organic Café. So this is actually one that's like very well rated. I've seen this pop up on many like awesome blogs saying that they have the best hot chocolate. I ordered the dark chocolate. They also have a Mexican hot chocolate.
Oh.
But I figured the Mexican one's gonna be a little spicy, cinnamony, and we just had that. So I kind of wanted a dark chocolate. Also, Dante loves dark chocolate.
Yeah, I'm a big dark chocolate fan.
So I thought this would be a good one.
All right, so starting off on our metrics, what was the price?
It was...
I thought I saw about $4.86 on the register over there.
It was 4 something.
So that's a little pricier than the last place.
A little pricier, same size though. And presentation-wise, I mean, I love all the colors and stuff, but I think that my personal aesthetic is closer to Epoch than it is here.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love the vibe here. It's like fun and colorful. What did I give
Sunny.
Epoch? It is sunny. We're sitting outside because it's way too loud inside.
So you said the indoor vibe at Epoch, you said about a 4.
4.
But then you downgraded it a bit because the presentation on the cup was just kind of meh. So I think you gave it a 3.5 overall.
I'm going to say this is a 2.
Okay.
Because we're not sitting inside, and it wasn't super vibey in there either. Like, what do you think?
No, I would agree. They didn't have it super decorated. It was just a lot of tables,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of people, busy. It's popular, clearly, here in downtown.
The food looked good. We're not getting their food this time, but I will say their food menu actually looked really good.
Nice. The graffiti outside is also very stylized. It's not my aesthetic. So I think a 2 is probably fair, and I'll agree with you. I'll give it a 2 on that.
So much better.
Really?
So much better. It actually tastes more chocolatey. I'll let you take a sip and then I will form my thoughts. It is deeper. Like the chocolate flavor is deeper because it is.
It's warmer than the last place.
It is warmer than the last place. It might be a touch too warm, but if I'm gonna say for warmth, I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
I agree. I was going to say about 4.
Maybe even a 4.5 because it's not too hot.
I'm keeping it at 4.
He's keeping it at 4. For trueness to chocolate, it is more dark chocolatey, so I do think it is truer in chocolate. So I'm going to say it's probably a 4. It's a bit too sweet for my taste, but it is definitely more chocolatier than Epoch for sure.
I see what you mean.
It kind of hits like at the end, the tail end of like...
I think it's the sugar that they added, which is why it doesn't quite...
The sugar minimizes that chocolate flavor, whereas I just want the pure, like, the purest taste of chocolate.
You know what, though? I will agree with you here. I'm just agreeing with you a lot at this place. I would give it a 4 as well. I think it's got a good chocolate taste to it. It's just hampered by the sugar. There's still a little too much. So the last...
This is much richer than
Yeah,
the
so the last
type.
category would be richness.
And it's so much richer. It feels like very thick and like creamy and velvety. She steamed the milk really well here.
Oh, really?
I watched her do it. So I do think like it ultimately led to a much like richer flavor and like velvety feel in the mouth.
Nice.
Which is weird. When you say velvety mouth, I'm always like, do I want to be licking velvet? But like, somehow that's a positive thing. It's still not as rich as a 5. I'm going to say it's probably a 4.
I'll tell you what though, it's really like thin. It's not super creamy.
Really?
To me, it feels pretty thin.
No way. The top of it was way richer.
Really? Okay.
Now it's thinning out. I'm going to drop it to a 3.
I was going to say like 2.
2?
Seriously, it tastes a little too thin to me. So I'm used to her hot chocolate at home. She does like a homemade whipped cream. It's delicious. That'll be our last chocolate place, so stay tuned. But
I will say this one is one that I could actually see myself in downtown getting, to be honest. But we will see you next at Medici.
Medici's the last? Oh,
The last
right.
one.
Our third and final stop was Caffé Medici, a downtown Austin staple.
We have made it to hot chocolate spot 3. We are at Caffé Medici. This is a very popular place in downtown Austin. They have a lot of stores. We just made it out to this specific location. They do have really cute sit-down spots and outdoor seating and this cute little bar stool situation. And we ordered a hot chocolate. Me and him were just talking about it. It was like, are you hot chocolate outed?
Hot chocolated out?
Hot chocolated out? I don't even know. And you were like, yes, I am. I don't know how Keith does this on the Try Guys, where he tries a full menu or even Good Mythical Morning.
Ooh.
That was a good ooh. I almost need a palate cleanser because
you get too much hot chocolate?
But I love, let me clarify, the sweetness of this. This is the first one that's not too sweet.
What I will say is it's too hot.
It is too hot. So let's start off with price, though.
Right, so this one's $4.25, so it's actually mid-range. It's cheaper than what Pacha was, or Pacha or whatever it was.
Pacha.
Pacha.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than what Pacha was.
And presentation-wise, it's like any coffee shop. I would say it's run-of-the-mill.
No, it was really cute inside. They had a lot of art.
It does have really pretty art, but it's not as vibey as Epoch was.
No, but
Epoch was the vibiest.
That's definitely a lot better than Pacha. So I'm going to say that vibes-wise, I'd give this one a 4.
I think I'd also give it a 4.
I liked it a lot.
For richness, what would you say?
I have to sip it again. He says, wanting another sip. I will say they didn't have a banner on this one like they did for the other ones.
All the other ones had their branding on it. I don't know, it's not as rich tasting to me. The chocolate flavor is right, which it's gonna get points for. But as far as creaminess, thickness, velvetiness,
I think it's a little bit better than Pacha. I think it's just so hot
that we
it's kind
can't.
of hard to tell.
I'm gonna say that this one probably a 4 for richness, because it does have a good mouthfeel. What would you say?
Yeah, I think that I would give it probably a 3, between 3 and 4, but I'm gonna round down to 3 because I think it's closer.
It's not that thick though, so I want to almost agree with you. I think it is a 3. To me, this tastes more like chocolate milk, but hot. In the best way, though.
Yeah, and they're really, really good. I love the chocolate flavor. In fact,
the chocolate flavor has been my favorite.
Trueness to chocolate, what do you give it?
I'm going to give it a 4.5.
I'm giving it a 5.
And then hotness, it is too hot. I'm definitely giving this a 2 on hotness.
I think I gave it a 3.
Okay. It's too hot. But we'll show you guys the scores at the very end so you can find out what the best hot chocolate is.
One of my favorite things to do in the month of December is making homemade gingerbread cookies. The recipe is linked on my blog, so I'd check it out if you're interested. This recipe is so incredibly delicious in the fact that it's actually soft and buttery, unlike many other gingerbread recipes. We sit together as a family and decorate all the cookies. Here are some of my favorites. Now it's time to make my signature hot chocolate. It starts off by measuring out 1 ounce of bittersweet chocolate chips. My homemade secret recipe, I'm finally sharing it with you guys. So it starts off with half a cup of milk. I'm just putting that in a saucepan.
and turning on the heat to about medium. Trying to get every drop of it in there. And then I'm gonna dump in my 1 ounce of chocolate. That's what actually makes those taste like hot chocolate. I was quite disappointed by most of the places where we went to where they were using cocoa powder. And then something I like in my recipe is to actually use brown sugar for my sweetener. I find that it gives a much deeper flavor and really boosts that chocolatey richness that I'm looking for. And then along with that, I like to use a little splash of vanilla. Sometimes I measure it, sometimes I don't. If you're a baker, you know. But I do use about ½ teaspoon. I have a whisk and I'm gonna go ahead and give this a good whisk. I just don't want the chocolate to burn at the bottom. So I'm just gonna be constantly whisking it to make sure it gets incorporated. We have made the hot chocolate. My famous secret recipe is now public. I think first come first, I just want you to rate it because you're a little more impartial than I am because it is my recipe, and then I will give my scores, but obviously I'm gonna be a little biased, and so is Dante.
So temperature, a warm 5 out of 5 for me.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely perfect. If we talk about the richness, every hot chocolate that we tasted, whether at Epoch or at, sorry, I'm consulting my notes, at Pacha or at Medici, they were all very thin. Even when we felt that, you know, this one's richer than the others or it's creamier, none of them scored perfectly in my book.
Yeah.
And in fact, I would say that this one does because of the addition of the homemade whipped cream and everything.
Yeah.
It's just very nice and creamy and rich and thick. What about the trueness to chocolate? You can't get more true than adding chocolate to milk and melting it. I mean, perfect, 5 out of 5. So I would say the cost of the hot chocolate is next to free. Like, it's so minimal that it's not even worth calculating.
And best part, you can wear your pajamas and stay at home by the fireplace and have your hot chocolate.
And the presentation, well, it's the only one that presented with this cute little whipped cream and everything like that. And also it's the only one we got that wasn't in a disposable cup.
Which is a little unfair, to be fair, because like we were taking everything to go. They did offer to do mugs.
I will say though that you don't get that cute like coffee shop or hot chocolate place vibe that you get at a lot of the others. So presentation, I am going to dock some points there. I'll give you a 3 out of 5.
To me, if we were to kind of like summarize the 3 spots, Epoch to me was super cute vibes, but it was like cinnamon milk with a little bit of chocolate.
I wouldn't call it hot chocolate. I would say it's a nice drink.
It's a nice drink.
At a nice place. But if you're going there for hot chocolate, go somewhere else.
Yeah. And then we then hit Pacha. Pacha is like, I would go get breakfast and then maybe order a hot chocolate. That's like the first place that I thought like I could potentially order it. It's just going to be sweet. And then the last place was Caffé Medici, and that was another place totally could see sitting down with some friends and like having a drink. The hot chocolate was actually good and was one that I could actually see myself ordering if I was in the downtown area. Plus they have so many locations sprinkled out throughout downtown where like it's convenient and like easy to visit.
So Dante, what were the final scores?
I don't know why you said that.
I've become a TV host now.
So number 1, hands down, just tallying the scores, was your homemade hot chocolate. The way that we did the scores, by the way, I should preface, because let's give some numbers to these things. You probably see them here.
Yeah, we are 2 engineers.
So we've done a score adjustment for the flavor, because ultimately this is a quest to find the best hot chocolate, not the best sit-down place, not the cheapest place, and not the place that gives you the exact right temperature. I mean, we want good flavor. That means richness, and the trueness to chocolate score categories were doubled. Total scores based on what I gave to your hot chocolate is 33.
Wow, a whopping 33.
We have Caffé Medici, which was my rating, taking 25 points to get second place. Anjali gave it 23, so
pretty close.
Joint second place there for Caffé Medici. Next up was my estimation of Epoch, which I gave 22 points. Next up on our list is Anjali and her score for Pacha, which tied 22 with my rating for Epoch.
Oh, there we go.
So you like Pacha just about as much as I liked Epoch.
Nice.
And then your score for Epoch, which was 21.5.
Ah.
Because you also liked the environment.
Yeah.
Finally, the one that I thought was the worst and the lowest score in our set was my estimation of Pacha. It just wasn't my place.
Yeah.
I gave it 20 points.
And I just want to quickly say that I really would love you guys to try my hot chocolate recipe. It's something that I've adored making over the years. My recipe is on thevegetariancowgirl.com, which is my personal blog. If you click recipes and look under cooking, you will find the recipe there. And make sure to tag me if you post it on Instagram or anything with hashtag thevegetariancowgirl. Thank you so much for watching our vlog number 2. We're doing it. I'm so happy. And we're going to post our next video next week. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and give this video a little like. Thank you so much. See you guys next week.
Bye.